hearing with the Peta dude, they basically saying the Golden Boy and the Zone and them feel like it ain't time yet for us to fight. It ain't that time yet. So they feel as though it ain't. We shouldn't be fighting right now.
Been at the same weight class for so long, and now that I'm kind of on the horizon of like getting the Lomachenko fight. Now everybody wants to talk about Tank and Loma when we could have been talking about this early on in like my pro career when these two guys was Loma was in his prime and Tank was about to reach that peak. But I feel like now it's like Lomachenko is got like 1 or 2 more fights left in his career probably, and I think that I feel as though they're taking the fight now because the time is now. But if we're talking about like how the fight would play out, I still think like with Lomachenko's skills and stuff, it would still be a good fight. I don't think that Lomachenko is a pushover, even though he is older. With the experience he got, the knowledge, I think that it could be a tremendous fight. All it's going to boil you down to, can Lomachenko have punch resistance or what Tank is?
Shakur Stevenson doesn't have any hair on his tongue and went completely ballistic on Isaac Cruz. Cruz doesn't want to offer a title shot to Stevenson. And as Cruz said it, he has to earn it. Stevenson went live on Instagram and completely went on Cruz and then on Dan Davis. This man doesn't sugarcoat anything. Let's take a look what I'm hearing with the Zappa dude. They basically saying Golden Boy and dissin'. And them feel like it ain't time yet for us to fight. It ain't that time. Yet so they feel as though it ain't we shouldn't be fighting right now. Isaac Pitbull Cruz is a Mexican boxer in the lightweight division. Starting young, he quickly moved up the ranks with his aggressive style and powerful punches. Cruz is a tough opponent and has a strong win-loss record, having defeated many notable boxers in his weight class. These victories have earned him opportunities for title shots recently. There were discussions about a potential fight between Cruz and Shakur Stevenson. However, Cruz turned down the offer, which surprised the boxing community. In a recent interview, Cruz explained why he declined the fight, revealing details that shocked fans. This decision has sparked a lot of speculation in the boxing world, with many wondering why the fight was canceled. And who was responsible now? We have the answers to those questions. Isaac Cruz recently explained why he rejected the chance to fight Shakur Stevenson, who is the WBC's mandatory challenger for the 135 pounds title, has been looking for his next opponent. However, Cruz turned down the offer because he felt Stevenson hadn't earned a title shot in the lightweight division. Cruz believes that Stevenson and his manager Bob Arum wanted to skip past other fighters in the division. Without putting in the effort, he felt that Stevenson wanted to ignore fighters like himself and take an easy route to the top. Cruz didn't agree to give Stevenson the opportunity to advance without proving himself in the lightweight division. Isaac Cruz also mentioned that Stevenson has limited experience in the lightweight division, having only fought Shichiro Yoshino. Cruz believes that this isn't enough to earn a title shot. However, Stevenson doesn't agree with Cruz's perspective. Isaac Cruz's manager, Sean Gibbons, explained why Cruz turned down a fight with Shakur Stevenson. The WBC lightweight champion moved up from 130 kgs, where he was a unified champion, and is considered one of the top fighters across all weight classes. Cruz's most recent fight was in July 2023, where he secured a split decision victory against Giovanni Cabrera. He has been suggested as a possible next opponent for Ryan Garcia. Speaking to Betway, Gibbons described the super lightweight division as one of the most thrilling in boxing right now. Gibbons criticized Stevenson's fighting style, labeling it as boring and unappealing to watch. He mentioned that while many fighters are moving up to 140 of Stevenson's style remains uninteresting regardless of his weight class. Gibbons also reflected on Cruz's past matchups, taking responsibility for previous fight choices that led to less exciting bouts. He emphasized their desire to avoid similar mistakes in the future and to prioritize making exciting fights for fans. Looking ahead to 2024, Gibbons highlighted that Cruz hasn't had a significant fight since facing Von Davis 2 years ago. despite some backlash for declining the fight with Stevenson, Gibbons believed it was the right decision for the fans, as it would have been a lackluster match. Instead, they are now focused on securing fights with Rayleigh Romero or Ryan Garcia, stating they would eagerly accept a match with either opponent. Gibbons also pointed out Cruz's substantial Hispanic following, comparing it to the popularity of Saul Canelo Alvarez among Hispanic boxing fans. He acknowledged Ryan Garcia's broad appeal beyond boxing, suggesting that a fight between Cruz and Garcia would be a major event with widespread interest. Shakur Stevenson, an undefeated former Olympic silver medalist, was looking forward to a match against Isaac "Pitbull" Cruz. However, Cruz's team declined the fight, describing Stevenson's style as boring. Stevenson strongly disagreed with this assessment and took to Instagram Live to express his views. He argued that Cruz was avoiding the fight and emphasized that he is not a runner in the ring. These dudes been at the same weight class for so long. And now that I'm kind of on the horizon of getting the Lenko fight now. Everybody wants to talk about Tank and Lumo, when we could have been talking about this early on, in my pro career. When these two guys was Lumo was in his prime and a Tank was about to reach that peak. But I feel like now it's Lenko is on the got 1 or 2 more fights left in his career probably. And I think that I feel as though they're taking the fight now 'cause the time is now. But if we're talking about how to fight with play out, I still think with Ulko skills and stuff it would still be a fight. I don't think that Lenko is a pushover, even though he is older with the experience. He got the knowledge. I think that it could be a tremendous fight. All it's going to boil you down to can have punch resistance. What Tank is throwing. Stevenson highlighted his recent aggressive performances. To counter Cruz's claims, he pointed to his 6-round stoppage victory against Shiro Yoshino as evidence of his increasing aggression in the ring. Stevenson believes that his current fighting style would have given him an easy win against Cruz, stating confidently that Cruz would not have been able to compete with him. Isaac "Pitbull" Cruz, known as a formidable force in the lightweight boxing division, recently turned down the opportunity to fight Shakur Stevenson. Cruz's rationale was that Stevenson hasn't yet earned his place in the division. Despite this, Stevenson remains confident in his abilities and continues to defend his style against criticisms of being boring. The potential fight between Stevenson and Cruz has stirred up significant buzz in the boxing community. Fans are left wondering what could have been if the match had taken place. Although both fighters are firm in their stances, the much-anticipated match remains off the table for now. The debate about their styles and merits continues, but it is clear that neither fighter is willing to back down from their position. Shakur also talked about his potential fight with John Davis. It's a boxing match that everyone is eager to see. Both Javin Davis and Shakur Stevenson are big names in the sport today. While Davis, often seen as one of the faces of boxing, might have a slightly higher status, Stevenson is not far behind as a lightweight champion himself. A unification fight between these two makes perfect sense. However, Davis seems to have some reservations about this potential matchup. Shakur Stevenson is set to return to the ring next week, nearly 6 months after winning his 3rd world championship title. During this period, fans were shocked when he briefly announced his retirement. Meanwhile, Devon Davis' successfully defended his title once again. In a recent interview with award-winning boxing journalist Kevin Isle, Stevenson discussed various topics, including Davis's comments made during the post-fight press conference after Frank Martin's match. In their conversation, Stevenson and Neal talked about the criticism Stevenson faced after his fight against Edwin De Los Santos. Many people commented on his quick defensive moves, with some even accusing him of running rather than showcasing slick boxing skills. This criticism seemed to resonate with Devon Davis, who during his latest post-fight conference expressed his thoughts on a potential fight with Stevenson. Despite this, Davis acknowledged that a match between them would be good for the sport as Stevenson prepares for his next title defense. The boxing world remains abuzz with speculation about a future fight between him and Davis. Fans and analysts alike are eager to see if these two champions will eventually face off in the ring, promising a showdown that could be one of the most exciting in recent boxing history. Kevin began by expressing his respect for Shakur Stevenson, stating that he would rank Stevenson higher than anyone else in the pound-for-pound ratings. However, he was curious about Stevenson's thoughts on Von Davis's recent comments. Davis had criticized Stevenson, and Isle wanted to know how Stevenson felt about a fellow boxer making such remarks. Shakur Stevenson responded confidently, suggesting that Davis's comments were due to his casual approach to the sport. He implied that Davis, being a talented fighter, might not fully understand the intricacies of boxing. Stevenson pointed out that Davis's opinions should be seen as casual and not necessarily reflective of deep boxing knowledge. To illustrate his point, Stevenson referred to Davis's prediction about the Isaac Cruz and Rolando Romero fight. Davis had believed Romero would win because of his power, but Stevenson argued that those who truly understand boxing knew Cruz had the upper hand. He emphasized that Davis's views were typical of someone who follows casual opinions rather than a deep understanding of the sport. Like Tank is a casual, we got to be honest, like when we look at him and really understand he's you could be a special boxer but don't really have the IQ, and I ain't gonna say IQ, but the boxing knowledge. As I say boxing knowledge in my brain. How I look at him he's a talented special fighter who got God-given abilities as far as boxing knowledge. And that I watched him, he fought how I often put it right, he fought. And that's what he basically